When it comes to the world of reality TV chaos, few franchises deliver drama quite like 90 Day Fiancé. And once again, the single life has stepped directly into the emotional battlefield. This time, the spotlight is on Kim Menzies, but while the cameras zoom in on her love life, there are other explosive storylines that fans simply cannot ignore. Let's talk about Kim first. Ever since her turbulent relationship with Usman Soja Boy Umar unraveled, viewers have been divided. Some felt she was blinded by fantasy. Others believed she genuinely opened her heart and got burned. Now, on the single life, she's attempting something brave, starting over. But here's the thing. Starting over on reality television is never simple. It's not just about dating someone new. It's about doing it while millions of viewers dissect every facial expression, every text message, every awkward dinner conversation. Kim stepped into this new chapter determined to show growth. She insists she's learned from the past. She says she won't ignore red flags again. She claims she knows her worth now. And yet, the tension feels familiar because 90 Day fans know something important. The franchise doesn't just follow relationships. It amplifies insecurities, it magnifies doubts, and it has a way of circling back to unresolved emotions. As Kim explores new connections, viewers can't help but wonder, is she truly ready? Or is she still carrying emotional baggage from Usman? Meanwhile, other cast members are quietly creating shockwaves of their own, and that's why some fans feel conflicted. Yes, Kim's storyline matters, but it's not the only bombshell brewing. There's the question of former couples who claimed they were done but suddenly appear back in each other's orbit. There are social media hints, cryptic posts, suspicious timing. In the 90 Day universe, nothing is ever really over. And then there are the cast members who walked away from toxic situations but now seem to be rewriting history. Some are portraying themselves as victims, others are trying to clean up their public image, but viewers remember everything. Reality television creates receipts. Kim's journey on the single life is framed as empowerment. She's dating again. She's setting boundaries. She's speaking up. But critics argue that true empowerment doesn't happen overnight. It requires accountability. It requires reflection. It requires admitting where things went wrong during her previous relationship. Kim often chased reassurance. She pushed for commitment. She tried to secure a future that clearly wasn't aligned. Now she says she won't repeat that pattern, but in early scenes of her new dating life, we already see moments of overinvestment. She becomes emotionally attached quickly. She seeks validation. She analyzes every interaction. It's relatable. Pain makes people cling harder, and that's what makes her storyline compelling. It's messy, it's human. It's uncomfortable yet. While the show focuses heavily on Kim's romantic reset, other dramatic arcs are unfolding that deserve attention. There are cast members facing financial struggles behind the scenes. There are whispers of contract disputes. There are rumors of breakups that production hasn't addressed yet. The single life markets itself as a fresh start for fan favorites, but sometimes it feels like a continuation of unresolved chaos. One of the biggest bombshells this season isn't just about romance. It's about perception. Viewers are starting to question how much of what they see is genuine vulnerability versus carefully curated. Redemption arcs. Kim's storyline fits perfectly into that debate. Is she truly finding herself, or is she carefully reshaping her image? After the backlash she received, the truth likely sits somewhere in the middle. Reality stars live in a strange space. Their heartbreak becomes entertainment. Their mistakes become memes. Their tears become ratings. And for Kim, stepping back into that spotlight after public humiliation takes courage. But courage alone doesn't guarantee emotional readiness. Fans who aren't ready to move on from other bombshells are holding on to unanswered questions. What really happened behind closed doors in previous relationships? Why did certain cast members suddenly disappear from social media? Who is still secretly communicating with their ex? The franchise thrives on unfinished business. Even as Kim goes on dates and talks about new beginnings, there's a lingering shadow from her past storyline. It's impossible to erase that narrative overnight. Her dynamic with Usman was controversial from the beginning. The cultural differences, the age gap, the imbalance of power, the public arguments. Now she insists she's wiser. But growth isn't something viewers simply take on faith. They want proof. And then there's the audience fatigue factor. Some fans are emotionally invested in other cast members whose stories were left hanging. They feel those arcs deserve resolution before shifting the spotlight completely. It's not that Kim's journey isn't important. It's that the 90 Day universe is crowded with unresolved drama. Every season promises closure. Yet, somehow, it always delivers more questions. That's the genius of the franchise. And that's why viewers aren't ready to move on from other bombshells just yet. Because in the world of the single life, love is only one part of the equation. The real story lies in what people aren't saying. And as this season unfolds, one thing is certain: Kim's love life may be front and center, but the aftershocks from past chaos are still very much alive. Because the truth about the single life is that it never really isolates one story from the rest. Every cast member walks in carrying unfinished emotional business. And sometimes the show pretends to focus on fresh romance while quietly feeding off old wounds that were never fully healed. That's exactly why viewers are hesitant to fully invest in Kim's new chapter. It's not just about whether she can find love again. It's about whether the environment she's stepping into actually allows real change to happen. When Kim sits across from a new man at dinner smiling and saying she's in a better place now, there's an unspoken tension in the air. She wants to present herself as stronger, calmer, more self-aware, but audiences have watched her before. They've seen the way she attaches quickly, the way she fights for reassurance, the way she convinces herself that effort equals compatibility. So every new interaction feels like a test, not just for her but for the viewers. And then there's the editing. Reality television isn't raw life, it's shaped. Scenes are cut for maximum emotional impact. Conversations are trimmed to highlight awkward pauses. Reactions are replayed to intensify discomfort. That means even if Kim truly is evolving, the narrative might not allow her to fully escape her past image. If she shows vulnerability, it can be framed as desperation. If she sets boundaries, it can be framed as control. It's a tightrope. Meanwhile, other cast members are quietly stealing attention without even trying. There are relationships unraveling off camera that fans are piecing together through social media clues. There are former couples liking each other's posts again. There are sudden unfollows that speak louder than any tell-all episode ever could. Viewers aren't just watching the show anymore. They're watching Instagram stories, TikTok lives, and cryptic captions. The drama no longer belongs to the network alone, and that's part of why people aren't ready to move on from other bombshells. Some stories feel unfinished, some confrontations never happened on screen, some betrayals were brushed aside too quickly. The franchise moves fast, but fans don't forget. Take the broader pattern. Every time a cast member enters the single life, the promise is reinvention, new confidence, new standards. A clean slate, but how often does that truly happen? More often than not, the same emotional cycles repeat themselves. Different partner, same insecurities. Different city, same unresolved fears. With Kim, the biggest question isn't whether she can find someone new. It's whether she can sit with discomfort without chasing validation. In previous relationships, she often equated attention with affection. If she felt distance, she tried to close it immediately. If she sensed hesitation, she pushed for clarity. That urgency created pressure, and pressure rarely builds healthy foundations. Now, she says she's approaching dating differently. She claims she's pacing herself. She insists she's not going to beg for love, but early episodes show flashes of that old intensity, the quick emotional investment, the need to define things too soon, the visible disappointment when energy isn't matched instantly. It's not villain behavior, it's human behavior. But reality TV magnifies humanity until it looks extreme. At the same time, there are other cast members whose stories feel more explosive, yet they're getting less screen time, financial struggles that hint at deeper instability, secret meets that suggest unfinished romantic ties, family conflicts that were teased but never fully explored. Viewers sense there's more beneath the surface. Today on the show, we're diving into the world of economic indicators. These are the numbers that tell us how the economy is doing, things like GDP, unemployment rates, and consumer confidence. But what do these indicators really mean? How are they calculated and how should we interpret them? We'll break it all down for you with the help of some experts. To make sense of the numbers that shape our world, and here's where the frustration builds. When the show leans heavily into one redemption arc, it sometimes sidelines other chaos that feels more urgent. Fans begin to feel like producers are steering them away from the real fire. There's also the matter of accountability. Growth stories are compelling, but only when there's honest reflection attached. Has Kim fully acknowledged where she ignored warning signs before? Has she addressed why she tolerated imbalance for so long? Or is the narrative focusing more on empowerment slogans than on deeper self-examination? Audiences today are sharper than ever. They can sense when a storyline feels packaged. They crave authenticity. They want uncomfortable truths, not just hopeful music layered over a dinner date. And while Kim navigates this new dating pool, the shadow of her past dynamic continues to linger in fan discussions. The age gap debates, the cultural misunderstandings, the public pleading moments that became viral clips. Those memories don't disappear just because the season changes at the same time. Other former couples are stirring speculation by appearing in the same cities, attending the same events, or sharing suspiciously similar backgrounds and photos. The 90-day universe is small. Crossovers happen, rumors spread fast. And when fans detect even the slightest hint of rekindled drama, their attention shifts immediately. That's why it feels premature to emotionally close the book on those bombshells. There's unfinished tension floating around the franchise. There are cast members who haven't had their full reckoning yet, and as Kim continues her televised search for love, viewers are watching with mixed feelings. Some genuinely hope she finds peace. Others are bracing themselves for another emotional spiral, and many are simply waiting for the next unexpected twist from someone else entirely. Because in this franchise, calm never lasts long. Every romantic dinner can lead to a meltdown. Every hopeful confessional can be followed by a shocking reveal. The formula is familiar, yet it still hooks people. Kim may be at the center of the current storyline, but the larger storm surrounding the single life is far from settled. And until every hidden conversation surfaces, every off-camera rumor is addressed, and every unresolved conflict gets its moment, fans will remain restless. The spotlight might be fixed on Kim for now, but the real question is how long it will stay there before another bombshell explodes and shifts everything again. Because history has proven that in the 90-day universe, stability is temporary and shock value is inevitable. Just when viewers start settling into one storyline, another revelation surfaces, another secret leaks, another cast member drops a cryptic statement that sends the entire fan base into detective mode. And that's exactly the tension building. Right now, beneath the surface of the single life, while Kim's dates are being framed as hopeful and reflective, there are subtle signs that bigger drama is brewing elsewhere. Cast members who were once quiet are suddenly active again. Old arguments are being revisited in interviews, and former flames are being mentioned just enough to keep speculation alive. The franchise thrives on unpredictability, but longtime viewers recognize patterns. When a season appears too focused on emotional rebuilding, it often means a storm is coming. Maybe it's a confrontation that production has been saving for the perfect moment. Maybe it's a relationship twist no one saw coming. Or maybe it's the resurfacing of a storyline that was never truly resolved. For Kim, the pressure continues to mount. She isn't just dating, she's dating with a reputation attached to her name. Every man who meets her already knows her past relationship played out publicly. That changes the dynamic immediately. There's curiosity, there's caution, there's sometimes even judgment before a real connection has time to form. And that's where things get complicated. Because even if Kim wants to move forward cleanly, the shadow of her previous heartbreak follows her into every conversation. When she opens up about trust issues, viewers connect it to her past. When she hesitates, they assume she's reliving old trauma. The narrative is sticky. At the same time, other cast members are navigating equally complex situations, but their arcs feel underexplored. There are whispers of couples who never truly separated despite announcing breakups. There are reports of financial stress that may have influenced relationship decisions more than romance ever did. There are friendships between cast members that blur lines and create alliances viewers don't fully understand yet, and alliances matter. In reality television, friendships can protect you or expose you. A cast member who once defended someone might later reveal private details in a heated moment. That's another bombshell waiting to detonate. Fans are also paying attention to subtle shifts in tone. During interviews and tell-all previews, sometimes it's not what someone says, but how they say it. A pause before answering, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes, a defensive reaction to a simple question. Those moments often signal deeper issues brewing behind the scenes. Kim's storyline may be positioned as one of growth, but growth inside a reality TV ecosystem is fragile. The environment rewards drama. Calm relationships rarely dominate screen time. That creates an unspoken pressure. If things go too smoothly, the narrative risks becoming background noise. And in this franchise, no one wants to fade into the background. That's why viewers are bracing themselves. Because if Kim's new romance starts to look stable, something will likely test it. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's communication breakdown. Maybe it's interference from the past. The formula rarely changes. Meanwhile, fans remain emotionally invested in unresolved bombshells from other cast members. There are betrayals that still don't feel fully explained. There are apologies that seemed rehearsed rather than heartfelt. There are financial disclosures that raised more questions than answers. Those loose threads haven't disappeared. Social media has amplified everything. A simple photo posted at the wrong time can spark hours of speculation. A deleted comment can fuel entire conspiracy theories. Cast members know this. Some use it strategically. Others fall into traps without realizing how quickly narratives can spiral. The interesting shift happening now is that viewers aren't passively consuming anymore. They're analyzing, they're comparing times, their interviews with online activity. The audience has become part investigator, part critic, part storyteller, and that changes the power dynamic. It's no longer just about what airs on television, it's about what fans believe. If viewers feel that certain bombshells were glossed over too quickly, they will continue discussing them until answers surface. For Kim, this creates a complicated backdrop. Even if her current storyline is genuine, it exists in a world saturated with unresolved tension that makes it difficult for audiences to emotionally commit fully to her new journey. They're distracted, they're cautious, they're waiting. There's also the emotional fatigue factor. After multiple seasons of explosive breakups, cultural clashes, and public meltdowns, fans are wary of investing hope too quickly. They've seen redemption arcs collapse before. They've watched declarations of change dissolve under pressure. So as Kim continues navigating her dating life, there's a quiet undercurrent of skepticism. Not cruelty, not hatred, just guarded curiosity. Viewers want to see proof. They want to see patience. They want to see decisions that look different from the past. At the same time, other cast members may be inching closer to major revelations. Financial documents might surface. Ex-partners might speak out. Private conflicts could spill into public view. And when that happens, the focus will shift instantly, because that's the rhythm of this franchise. Spotlight, shock, shift. Spotlight, 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 shock, shift. Kim may be center stage right now, but the stage itself is unstable. The lighting can change in seconds, and the audience is already scanning the edges, anticipating the next dramatic entrance until those lingering bombshells are addressed. Until the unanswered questions are confronted head-on, the season will carry a sense of suspense that goes far beyond one woman's search for love. It's about the larger ecosystem of unresolved drama that defines the single life. Because silence in this franchise is rarely peace, it's usually the calm before another emotional eruption. Another confrontation that no one is fully prepared for, but everyone somehow expects. The tension that has been simmering beneath the surface doesn't just disappear. It builds pressure. And when it finally releases, it tends to do so in dramatic fashion. That's why viewers are watching this season with a different kind of attention. It's not just about who Kim chooses to date next or whether her new connection survives the early awkward stages. It's about what's happening around her. It's about the cracks forming in other storylines that haven't yet split wide open. There's a noticeable pattern emerging among several cast members. Publicly, they're presenting stability, carefully curated photos, polished captions, smiling interviews. But longtime fans recognize when something feels rehearsed. The overly positive tone, the insistence that everything is fine. In the 90-day world, that kind of presentation often signals the opposite. And while Kim tries to project calm confidence, she's still navigating a complicated emotional terrain. Dating after a public breakup isn't easy. Dating after a televised breakup that millions debated online is even harder. Every new partner she meets is stepping into a situation that already has history attached to it. There's also the question of trust, not just romantic trust, but trust in the process. Can she trust her instincts now? Can she tell the difference between genuine affection and performative charm? In her previous relationship, viewers watched moments where red flags were explained away. This time, audiences are paying closer attention to how quickly she moves and how deeply she invests. At the same time, other cast members are facing pressures that haven't fully come to light yet. Financial uncertainty is a recurring theme in this franchise. Relationship stress often hides deeper practical struggles. When income shifts, when opportunities dry up, when fame doesn't translate into stability, tension rises. Those realities don't always make it into confessionals immediately, but they shape behavior. There are also friendships within the cast that may soon fracture. When cameras stop rolling, alliances shift. People compare notes, secrets are shared, and sometimes what was once private becomes ammunition in a future argument. That possibility alone keeps fans on edge. Kim's storyline might appear straightforward on the surface, but nothing in this franchise truly is. Every hopeful scene carries the weight of potential fallout. A romantic dinner could be followed by a miscommunication that spirals out of control. A sweet confession could later be replayed in contrast to betrayal. Viewers aren't just watching for romance, they're watching for patterns. Has Kim slowed down her emotional pace? Is she asking different questions now? Is she setting boundaries without ultimatums? These subtle shifts matter more than grand declarations. Meanwhile, unresolved bombshells continue hovering in the background. Former partners who haven't fully spoken their side, family members who hinted at deeper issues, off-camera incidents that were briefly mentioned but never unpacked. the audience remembers those fragments, and the longer those fragments remain unanswered, the more suspense builds. Reality television doesn't just thrive on shock, it thrives on anticipation. The feeling that something is coming, even if you can't see it yet. Kim may genuinely want a fresh start. She may truly believe she's operating from a healthier place. But the ecosystem she's in rarely allows clean breaks. The past echoes, social media revives old clips. Comment sections remind cast members of every mistake. There's also the emotional toll of constant scrutiny. Growth requires space. Reflection requires privacy. But in this environment, every step forward is analyzed instantly. If she hesitates, it becomes a headline. If she expresses doubt, it becomes a narrative at the same time. Other cast members may be nearing their own breaking points. Relationships that appear calm on screen might be one argument away from collapse. Secrets that have been tightly guarded could surface unexpectedly. And when they do, the focus will shift quickly and decisively. Because that's the rhythm viewers have come to expect. Just when one storyline starts to feel settled, another erupts. Just when redemption feels possible, a revelation changes the tone completely. Kim is navigating love in the middle of that storm. And whether she realizes it or not, her journey is intertwined with the larger instability of the franchise. If another major bombshell drops, it won't just distract from her story. It will reshape how viewers interpret it. Fans aren't ready to move on from those other bombshells because closure hasn't been earned yet. Apologies felt incomplete. Explanations felt vague, and accountability sometimes seemed selective. Until those loose ends are addressed, every new romance exists under a cloud of skepticism. The real tension isn't just about who Kim dates next. It's about whether this season will finally confront the deeper issues that have been quietly circling for months. Will hidden conflicts be exposed? Will long-avoided conversations finally happen on camera? Or will the show continue to pivot toward hopeful beginnings without fully addressing painful endings? As the episodes continue, that unanswered question lingers. The spotlight may currently rest on Kim's attempt at reinvention, but the stage beneath her feet is still unstable. And if there's one thing the 90-Day universe has proven over and over again, it's that instability never stays hidden forever.